All right, July 30th, 2021, take two on the truck test drive. Just finished this and the GoPro for some reason froze up, so we're doing it again. I bought it in January of this year from the original owner. He got it at Northside Ford in Portland, Oregon. I took it back to Northside Ford for a full inspection. They went through everything. From that, I ended up replacing rear end fluid, or had it replaced by a professional. Rear end fluid, brakes, rear brakes, calipers, and rotors. Got new rear tires, new kingpins. Since I've owned it, I did put a tint on the front to match the back. I apologize for the hard water on there. Need to clear that off, or a little dusty rain or whatever it is that's stuck to the window. We've got the LED lights, really nice compared to the stock, and an LED light bar hiding behind the grill. I'll show you the switches for those. These front steer tires have about 7,000 miles on them. I have receipts for everything, of course, and that's all in the glove box. I just did some smoked lenses here on the LED marker lights. Super hitch with a 17,000 pound weight rating with distribution, 15,000 without the distribution. You're also plumbed for air back to here if you wanted to use trailer air brakes. This is the rear view camera. I'll show you that on the double din. Currently I have the sled deck that I put on here with the reverse lights. It's got a winch. It's also remote. We see you have a little remote and then some ramps. You can run a side-by-side up there or whatever else. They're big 10-foot aluminum ramps. From there, you are rhino lined, or whatever you call that. It's coating. We got some little LED lights for the sled deck. Sled deck's not supposed to be included. I got a couple grand into that little outfit, but can be negotiated. The airline, I'll let that stay. What we did is, that was another thing from the inspection. We had the air system all gone through and replaced a bunch of fittings. I just got everything tightened up so that it's not leaking any air. You got an angle valve that comes off of the tank compressor to here, and that's where you plumb in your airline. So if you were going to go off-road, you could deflate the tires and pump them up. That system runs at about 110, 120 psi. Moving in here, pretty stock. I got some train horns, because why not when you have 110 psi. Went with LED bulbs in here. Did a double din stereo, really nice component speakers, 6x8 in the back, 5x7 in the front with the tweeters, and then just a nice 8-inch sub back here. Nothing to rattle the windows, but it just fills in for a good sound. But a real nice JL Audio sealed box. So yeah, no defects or anything to note in here. Seats, you got lumbar, front, back, or no, maybe, yeah, lumbar, front, back, power, heat. So, I just did a cold start. It hadn't been started in a couple days, but it's very similar to a warm start. Just takes about less than 5 seconds for that wait to start light to turn off. The only issue, and I haven't looked into it at all, and I'm personally not terribly concerned, got an ABS light on now, so dealing with that. It's there, it is what it is, but that is the only blemish I can possibly think of. Also, another guy's over here to test drive it, seemed to be pretty knowledgeable, had tested it for blow-by, and there's a 0 blow-by, seemingly tight as tight gets. All right. So this is the 2006 model of the F650. I think it's the golden year. 2007, they had the DPF, you know, for all the EPA requirements, and so that cut the power. To get the power back, they went and had to increase the fuel pressure up to 240 psi. Basically, it was just problematic. But this is the golden C7, twice the life rating of a Cummins. At 300 horse, it pulls like a freight train, loaded, going up the hills. And the Cat dealer can also, through their software, turn it up to 330 or 350. So I'm curious what that would do, but I just haven't found it necessary. It runs so well as it is, so I haven't paid that 500 bucks. But you got train horns, and we'll turn our air brake off. We've got hydraulic brakes, of course, air over hydraulic there, the parking brake, and flip our Allison 3060 into drive. Oh, this is the air dump is going to be right here, so you hold the top, rock it, and now our back is dropping 6 inches. Click it back up, you're ready to drive. 120 psi, doesn't lose but 20 pounds after sitting for a week. Everything's super tight there. Of course, power mirrors, power window, doors. There's a little cell phone holder I put in there. But all right, off we go. So typically when it's completely cold, when I take off, it'll actually reduce the power through the engine and the trans as a safety feature until it gets up to temperature. But now we are up to temperature because I just did this, although the video didn't capture it. So here we're cruising 45 miles an hour, smooth as butter, probably in 4th gear currently. I'm gonna go take a couple of corners, and then that'll put us onto a 55 mile an hour road, and we can probably gas it and at least get to 70 or so without being dangerous. Cruise is oh, RPM. So I've just had like 1 ton Cummins, and probably be where I've had the most miles would be like a 6.7 Cummins, and the subsequent ones as well. But I always thought that all diesel engines like to run at a lower RPM, so I was forever trying to keep it down around 1700 RPMs. Through the Cat dealer, they helped me out and realized that 2200 is really the sweet spot. That is the maximum horsepower at 2200 RPMs, maybe 2150, but right close. And anyway, this showed me that the difference between 1900 RPM and 2200 RPM equated to 1/16 of a gallon of gas being burned extra per hour. So 0 difference basically. So yeah, long story short, the C7 engine does like to run at a higher RPM than you might be used to with your 1 ton Cummins or comparable. I had they set the limiters. I could have gone up higher, but I just set it at 2400 RPMs. That lets me easily pass at 85 miles an hour with a load. And with a load, it pulls like a freight train up the pass from Oregon coming into Idaho, Cabbage Pass. So, absolute pleasure to drive. I built it for the long haul for myself to, you know, last forever. And then decided it's going back up to Alaska. So woulda, coulda, shoulda, the 4-wheel drive would be the unicorn to find, right? That would be the ultimate truck, no doubt. AC blows nice and cold. Frigid air coming out currently. Got an LED light bar, reverse lights, your cruise RPM. I had them do a soft set. You can do a soft, medium, or hard. That means if you set it at 2000 RPMs, it's probably plus or minus 50 before it tries jumping into a different gear. Or you could have it set hard so it literally sticks at that RPM. Alright, looks like we got a nice cooler. Oh shit. A cooler in the center of the thing. It kind of looked like mine, but it's not. Okay, here we go. Alright, so cruising. I'm not floored, but I guess it would still be in 5th gear. Oh, I think I just saw it go to 6th probably. Here, I'll jump up to 70 real quick. Oh no, there's, so pulling through 70, 75, there's 6th gear. So there's 74 at 2,000. Anyways, that's about as fast as we can go here safely. I've never had any issues with overheating. It just sticks right about the middle of the temperature. Definitely driven it at 100, 105 degrees with a load, and she's happy as can be. Alright, well, hopefully this video loads. Alright, let me know if you have any questions. 208-703-1168.